Hi, I'm Suzanne Castle, and this is the Thought Leader Thursday. I'm here today introducing you to another incredible leader, thinker, doer, and all-around amazing human who's going to help each of us think about our world a little bit differently than anyone else. From artists to teachers, from actors to moms, from the big names to the you didn't know about them till now names, my hope is that you will connect with a leader who helps you light up in your corner of this galaxy. This is the Thought Leader Thursday show. Welcome everyone to the latest and greatest Thought Leader Thursday, where you're going to be introduced to a really amazing goddess of goodness here in just a few moments. And today we're really going to be talking about how we really go after our look out in the world, not necessarily what we put on our bodies, but how we're showing up in people's feeds and what that means. So Garrett, that got me thinking just a little bit. What do you think it means to be branded?
So I'm assuming you're not referring to the branding iron situation.
Well, in Texas, it could be that. Like, let's be honest.
So I guess to be branded means like you have. Actually, it's funny you bring this up because I was telling my friends last night, a couple weeks ago, a bunch of us went to a Rangers game, and I was talking about how I really like to wear Converse and Ray-Bans, and someone's like, "Oh, so you're just like all about brands? You're a brand snob?" I was like, "Am I a brand snob?" Like I'd never even thought about that before, but that's my brand, I guess, is looking. The Aviator Ray-Bans, Converse shoes, stepped out of the 1970s. Right. Record player and all.
I love it. I love it. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that. So let me introduce you to a wonderful brand strategist by the name of Nikki Bradley. I'm so glad that she's here. I can't wait for you to hear more from this goddess, because here's what she does. She specializes in helping women entrepreneurs specifically build their personal brand alongside their business brand. So it's not just about their business. It's about who they also are. And that way they bring out their biggest, their baddest, their dopest version of themselves, so that they show up more of themselves to serve with more impact, to draw people towards them, and then shine with great confidence. And she also works with organizations to empower other kinds of business leaders to become brand ambassadors, to think deeply about being a thought leader, to position themselves and build out their personal brand too. So as you see, she is uber talented, so much so she's been nominated for all kinds of crazy good awards. She is phenomenal. She has so much energy, and I can't wait for you to learn more and connect with the fabulous Nikki Bradley. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for being here.
So glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I was thinking about our conversation today, and I love that you have on a glittery jacket, and we just have to recognize that our sparkle factor today is because of a common person we have that we know by the name of Rose Jubb, who has her own Amazon TV show herself. She's my stylist. She's amazing. So shout out to Rose, because I know she's checking this later, and you're looking amazing. I love the sparkles on you. But that's what I think about me when people come into me. They think that, oh, Suzanne, you're the sparkle factor girl. There, you leave a trail of glitter behind you. There's always confetti, right? One of my clients calls me a human confetti cannon. And so I think when trying to think about my brand, that's kind of hard, because sometimes that can seem like a Disney-fied version, right? And I know that you do deep work and I do deep work, but we want to be representing ourselves out in the world so that we're attracting the right kind of people. So what is the biggest challenge that you see that people face when they're thinking about showing up online, and how then would you recommend that they overcome that?
So it's funny you talk about like being the sparkle lady, or the trail of confetti, or the Disney and all of those things. Because for some people you may be thinking like, is that too much, or am I too over the top for people? And I think that really is the biggest challenge that most people face when it comes to, building their personal brand, or just building their brand in general, because so many people are afraid of what other people will think about them. They're afraid that they're being too fill in the blank.
Yep.
We're so worried about being too much of something. So whether it's, like us, and all the sparkles, or, too colorful. Like, clearly I like color. I like the brights, right? Or too girly, because I have my heels. I love my heels. Too old, we're too young, or, too opinionated. Or I was actually talking to my husband yesterday, and he introduced me to this speaker who she's young. I think she's in her 20s. She's become uber successful. Corporations hire her all the time. And she talks really fast and she acknowledges it. But, I was always taught, coming through like Toastmasters and all of that, to slow your speaking down. And in order to be a successful speaker, that you had to pace yourself with your speaking.
Right.
But she has become super successful, and even that's part of her brand, is that she talks fast, and she's like, keep up with me. You got to catch it. You got to catch it. And that's part of her brand. So the biggest thing is, like, the things that we think are too much of something is exactly the right amount for the people that are the right people for you. The people that you're meant to serve, you're exactly the right amount of whatever it is for them.
Right. And I think that's so well said. I'm a big personality, right? I tend to take all the oxygen up in the room. I know that's because my professional entertainment background, I'm always on the stage. I was joking with Garrett that we were changing costumes before we started taping. That's just, I think of my closet as my costume closet, and that really is okay. And I think one of the great things that you do, I know we have similar circles in the fact that we're trying to unleash this creative spirit among entrepreneurs to be all that they can be and not be stuck in an old narrative, right? Really that kind of sense of empowerment that however you show up in the world is exactly how you're supposed to show up in the world. But I think your magic is that you take all of those components and then you teach someone all of those things make up your brand. So I know teaching is a big part of your spirit. And so would you talk to us a little bit about why it's so important to teach branding?
First of all, I think for me, teaching was inevitable for me. And teaching and entrepreneurship was kind of inevitable because I come from a long line of educators and entrepreneurs. So I kind of fell into this. I didn't have a choice. But branding in particular, why I felt like this was my calling. A lot of times we think that branding is about how others see us, and it is, because branding it's kind of your street cred. It's how people remember you. It's what people think of when they think of your company or your business or even your personal brand. It's your reputation. But it's really so much more about how we see ourselves. And I know for myself, for a long time, when I was building my business, when I was first getting started, I was much more concerned about what we just talked about, what other people thought. And so I hid a lot. I would hide behind, I would hide behind my corporate experience. I would hide behind whatever my product or my service was. And I see so many other people doing that when they're trying to build their brand. They're focused. And that's why I say I help you build your personal brand alongside your business brand, because so many people are so focused on, here's the business, but don't look at me. Right. Like I'm going to sit back here. And until we get good with who we are and our expertise and what it is that makes us so unique in the world, that whatever that too is, you're too much of this, too little of that, or whatever it is that people put on us. Because like I said, that's the thing that is going to attract the right people to you. Until we get good with that and lead with that, that was the thing. I was like, I've got to help people like really embrace that. So, because you're not gonna be able to build your brand and build your business and really get to where it is that you're trying to go until you can really own that.
Right. I love how you're talking about claiming it. I'm using a different word, but to claim that. I mean, you're putting your stamp on here is where I stand and what I stand for and who I am. And I I know that coming out of the entertainment world, I have massive, like, get ready. I have massive self-esteem issues. I had a big decade birthday back in December. I turned 50. And there's just like, there's all this stuff about what I should now be, what I should now wear, how long my hair should be. I grew up that, when you turn 50, you cut your hair short. And it's just interesting how all of those narratives play into also how we're showing up and how we think about ourselves. And I wonder, the detriment that we do when we're trying to build something, when we just don't live in to who we are. When I claimed who I was, it was interesting. Then people just started coming to me, and also people went away from me. And I have to say, you've seen this too. That's also an important part of branding, because you don't want everyone to come towards you, because you don't want to work with everyone. Like, we've always had those clients that we really shouldn't have been working with, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Like I celebrate saying no to people and people leaving.
Right.
And I teach my clients to do the same thing. Like, we literally shake pom-poms and cheer when people leave, that need to clear the space for the people, to make room for the people that that we want to come into our space.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's important. And I think, not that men don't struggle with that, because I know that they do, because I have men clients too. But I know women especially, as I think part of that kind of core nurturing spirit inside of us, it's just hard when people say no and when people leave our side. And so to get to that space to go, you're leaving, and that opens up space for someone else to come my way. That's what I have to tell myself all of the time. So you've been giving us all these little nuggets and all these little tips along the way. And I hope everybody's been taking good notes, because she's amazing. And I know she's got a giveaway for you here in just a second that will help you. But if you could take just a few minutes and give us maybe 3 or 4 tips on the best ways to kind of think about building your personal brand, what would those be?
So we talked about it a little bit, but I think one of them would definitely be, I call it your dope superpower, but getting really clear on what that is and owning it. So whatever that thing is that is your unique gift, and a lot of times it's that thing that I think that we get it really from a young age. It's whatever that thing is that your parents or people would tell you, like, oh my gosh, like you are so good at that. It's that thing that you don't really have to work that hard at. You just do it in your sleep, and people are always asking you for help with it. Like, whatever that thing is. And it's not always like a skill or something that, like, for me, even though I teach branding and marketing, like, that's really not my dope superpower. My dope superpower is being able to help people to see the big picture and to see what's in them and bring it out.
Right.
So, it's whatever that thing is, that gift that was placed in you from birth. And then a lot of times what happens is it's that with the specific experiences that we've had throughout our life. And when you put those two things together, we're able to, when we harness it and really own it, the right people that are your divine assignment are going to come to you.
Right.
And so we don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, am I going to get the right clients? Am I going to get the right jobs? Am I going to get the right opportunities? They're going to come to you. If we clearly identify what that dope superpower is, if we own it, if we stop worrying about, comparing ourselves to other people, comparing ourselves to, or getting stuck in the mistakes that we made,
right,
or what we consider failures or whatever, just focus on what it is that is your unique gift and the people that you are put here to serve. So that's the first thing. The second thing I think is really stop undervaluing your brilliance, because that's once you know what your superpower is, you're brilliant at it.
Right.
It wouldn't be your superpower if you weren't brilliant at it. People wouldn't be asking you for help with it if you weren't brilliant at it.
Yes.
And I think about it like in terms of a diamond. A diamond doesn't see what it's worth, but people pay thousands of dollars for it.
Yeah.
sometimes millions, right? And it doesn't make it any less valuable because it doesn't see how much it's worth.
Right.
And a lot of times other people see how dope we are, but then they'll look at us crazy when we give them this low price for what we do. And they're looking at it, they're looking at us like, okay, something's got to be wrong with that because it's out of alignment.
Yes.
You're seeing like how amazing you are. And they're like, but that's what you're charging? Because then they're like, okay, maybe it's a cubic zirconia. You know?
Oh, that's CZ, you know.
Right? No. So you've got to stop undervaluing your brilliance because everybody else is like, okay, well, I know how amazing you are. So I would expect that you would, you know, charge for what that is.
Right.
And then the last thing would just be simplify. And I know that that sounds like it's not really part of your branding, but it is, because so many times we think that when it comes to building your brand, building out your marketing and your business, we have to do all the things.
Right.
And we don't. Just focus on what's important. And that kind of goes into what the gift was that I wanted to offer everybody.
Oh, yeah, we love gifts, Nikki. We love them.
I love free things. But I struggled with this for so long because I was trying to do all the things. I was, when I first started, I had my corporate job. I was a mom with a young baby and wife, and I was traveling all over the country and trying to build my business in every spare hour. And I was doing team too much.
Right.
And so I had to figure out, okay, how do I balance it all? How do I get it all done? And I was overwhelmed. And so I basically took the strategies that help me to focus on the things that are the most important when it comes to branding yourself and marketing, and put it together in like a mini training that I use with my clients. And that's what I wanted to give your audience.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Them. That's such an amazing gift. So if somebody wanted to take this mini training, and I know that you want to take that mini training, how would then they do that? And we'll drop some links below, but how does that work? So
we'll drop the link, but it's a bit.ly link. It's just bit.ly. It's called Easy Breezy Marketing Secrets.
Awesome.
And so it's just bit.ly /EBMS. Yes.
EBM. So, yes. I love it.
EBMS. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Wonderful. And so in that mini training, you're going to give us some ways forward from where we are now in a way to show up, right?
Yep. What to focus on each week so that you can step by step build out your marketing and your branding.
I think that's so important because, one of the things that I know that I struggle with is, you watch this expert and they tell you to do this. And then you are somewhere else or a client says to you, well, you're not on TikTok. Well, there's a lot of reasons I'm not on TikTok. My daughter's on TikTok. She needs a safe space to do her thing, right? Right. Or, but I can't find you on this channel. Oh, but you can find me here. And I think sometimes we have that fear of missing out. And so we leap into something when that's really not probably where we should be spending our time and our energy. And I'm all about energy. Like I want to harness my confetti in a direct way instead of just everywhere. And so I love the way that you're helping people show up and do that and giving them permission in a way that I haven't really heard of. I love to think about superpower. So, and I know that you're dynamite at that. And so I'm really glad that you were here. And so I always end the show asking about your definition of what it means to sparkle.
So as we've witnessed here, clearly we both like to sparkle. So for me, sparkling just means showing the heck up in the biggest, baddest, dopest version of you, whatever that is. So if you are an extrovert, then be the extrovert. If you're an introvert, then it's okay to be an introvert and just be that. Like whoever you are right now, be okay with who that is and just show up as that. That's how you sparkle.
Well, and I hope Garrett heard that because he can just show up, with his Converse wearing self and toting a record player if he needs to. And that's his definition of what it means to sparkle. So, Nikki, thank you so much. You've been very gracious and very giving. And don't forget, everybody, to jump into that mini training that she put together for us. Thank you so, so very much. I really, really do appreciate it. Follow Nikki Bradley. We're going to put in all the links below, so check out the descriptors on all the ways you can find Nikki, connect with Nikki, and you need to see what she's doing on social media. It's pretty freaking fantastic. Before I hop off, I do want to tell you a little bit about who you can expect on our next show, because we're featuring a laughter coach. Now, I don't know if you knew that such a thing existed, but there is such a thing, and Jewel is her name, because that could not be more perfect. And so next time we're together, we're going to feature Jewel, a laughter coach, and I can't wait for you to meet her. I'm Suzanne Castle. This is the Thought Leader Thursday.